Hey, what is going on, everybody? Welcome to Upkick MMA episode 246. I am Brennan. PFL numero uno. This is the first PFL regular season of 2023. So we're going to break down all the fights here. Normally, I would split this up between the main card and the prelims, but that's kind of not how the PFL works. And I've already made 3 videos this weekend, so we're just going to do it all here. Real quick before we get started. Subscribe to the channel if you like podcasts about MMA, fight breakdowns. We do PFL, 1FC, Bellator, UFC. Let's go. This was Brendan Laughnane versus Marlon Moraes. Robert Wilkinson, Thiago Santos. Krzysztof Jotko versus Will Fleury. Movlid Khaybulaev versus Ryoji Kudo. We're going to cover all of them. That was pretty much... Oh, and then Chris Wade, Bubba Jenkins is on the main card. Then we'll cover all the fights here, okay? So this video is going to be a little bit longer, so if that's going to be the case, so down below will be the timestamps if you're looking for a specific fight. So again, lately I've been splitting up the prelims and the main card. It's not what I'm going to do here. Let's get her done. Get her started? You know, that probably wouldn't have been as clever if he was like, let's get her started. Get her done is much better. Brendan Laughnane versus Marlon Moraes. 2 things are happening here. Brendan Laughnane's legit. Brendan Laughnane is... He's the real deal, okay? There's no 2 ways about it. He's the real deal, okay? I don't want to hear it. Otherwise, he's really good. And Marlon Moraes, I don't know because he still hits hard. He's still fast. He still swings hard. His cardio held out this time. It wasn't his cardio. His body gave out on him because Laughnane was damaging him. So Marlon Moraes at one point was fighting for a UFC title. He's one of the scariest guys. He has a win. He has a knockout win over Aljamain Sterling. The guy's good, or used to be at least. So, what happened in this fight? Obviously, Brendan Laughnane gets a win in the second round, but let's talk about how he did it just a little bit here. Marlon was landing some hard low kicks early. Funny that we say that because Brendan was doing a good job avoiding some of the bigger shots, some of those harder hooks that Marlon likes to throw, some of those bigger shots up top. Marlon was swinging wide. He was landing some really hard leg kicks, though. So Brendan started landing a nice jab and some low kicks of his own, and that was the story of the fight. He also partially landed a high kick. Brendan landed a right hand that wobbled Marlon at one point. I wrote down Marlos. Combined his first and last name. Brendan landed a low kick that hurt Marlon really bad, and he ended up dropping him in the first round. Brendan hurt him so bad in this first round, I gave it to him 10-9. You can see the AI gave that first round to Brendan as well, 69, nice to 11. Second round started. Marlon ran out there. He ran right across the cage. He was trying to get the finish. He was trying to do everything he could. He was swinging hard, and he was chasing Brendan down. Now, Brendan did a very good job of avoiding those shots, moving, not precisely isn't the right word, intentionally. So he would move intentionally to a spot, knowing that it was unlikely for Marlon to hit him there. I know that seems like no shit, why wouldn't you do that? But a lot of guys will get caught in this trap where they know the other guy's hurt, and they know all they got to do is, or they know they're getting tired, so you just got to withstand it happened in the Bellator fight this weekend with Gome. They know that all they have to do is withstand just a little bit of a barrage, and they'll be good. And they won't move, or they'll zig when they should have zagged. Brendan didn't let any of that happen. He avoided a majority of the shots that were thrown at him here in the second round, and he kicked Marlon low, and that was the end of it. He got him with a leg kick knockout. It was impressive. It's just a couple things about this. Brendan Laughnane is obviously coming off of last round, being the $1 million champion in the lightweight division. Or featherweight. What? Featherweight division, not lightweight division, dumbass. Featherweight division. This guy, his story is inspirational in that he was looked over by Dana White. Look at this guy's record. Look at this record. I understand the competition isn't quite at the level of the UFC because the depth of the level of competition isn't as good as it is in the UFC. Okay, I get that. But look at this guy's record. He had the loss to Mike Wilkinson back in 2012 in the UFC. Then he proceeded to rattle off 5 wins. He gets 1 loss. Another 4 wins. It loses to Pat Healy, who was good, especially back in 2017. That was still a legit loss. And then he rattles off 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 wins in a row, including Bill Algeo in the Dana White Contender Series, and he gets passed over because he went for a takedown. And he goes to the PFL, gets second place. He makes it to the final, and he loses a split decision to Movlid Khaybulaev. And what does he do last season? Goes undefeated last season. And he beats Bubba Jenkins convincingly for $1 million. This guy is 26-4 in MMA. And yes, when he has stepped up in competition against grapplers, it has not gone his way. But he has improved in that department, and I hope that he can put up a more competent competition with Khaybulaev because he has trained with him now. So it'll be interesting to see how this goes. I am looking forward to watching him this season. I've been a fan of his since the first fight of his that I saw. I am. And it happened to be in the PFL, but legit, I think he's one of the best featherweights in the world. I think he could crack the top 10 in the UFC? Absolutely. Not everybody in the UFC is a killer, although most of the featherweights are. I think he would fit right in. Robert Wilkinson taking on Thiago Santos. Grapple. Grappling was the story here, guys. Santos was swinging really hard. It was really scary when he was throwing, like he always, every time he throws is scary. Santos with a hard leg kick, and Rob answered with a hard jab and got in on the takedown. Rob on the back and transitions to the mount. Rob controlled and did enough damage in that first round to take it. Obviously, 10-9. 77 for the AI scoring system. Left hand from Wilkinson landing and rocked Santos momentarily in the second round. He set it up a takedown with a right hand. It was beautiful. Rob worked his way to the back for a second. Santos reversing and got the back, but he didn't do anything with it. In fact, he got reversed again. Rob switched, got back up, got the hips down. Santos was just on the defense the entire time in the second round. It was a slightly better round for him than it was in the first because he got up a couple times, but this is not great. 20-18 to Wilkinson. And then in this last round, Rob did less. Right, he wasn't able to control him as well. Santos with a great body kick and a left hook to follow. Wilkinson went for a takedown and got kneed for it. Rob did get some control here. Santos did a better job this round, landing really good damage. I'd give it to him for landing that huge shot right at the buzzer, but it was too little too late. Right, he was just controlled the entire time. This has been the story of Thiago Santos' career. If you can control him on the ground, the fight's over. He just can't. He can't get off his back effectively. Really, that's what it turned out. That's kind of what led him out of the UFC. Even though he had a very competent, arguably a winning fight over John Jones, in which he didn't really grapple a lot. It's weird. Krzysztof Jotko versus Will Fleury. A little bit of controversy here. It didn't go the way that the commentary team, both Kenny Florian and Randy Couture, called it. So, well, let's talk about it. So Fleury gets the split decision win, I believe. I think he got the split decision win. Mother of pearl. Yep. Okay, so Fleury was in on the takedown. There wasn't much there for it. Jotko seemed to slip and hurt his foot for a second. That was nothing. They're back and forth in the middle, but against the cage, Fleury was a stronger guy in there. Not a ton of damage either way. I gave it to Fleury, 10-9 for the control, and I had it even on the damage, so that's why I gave that first round to Fleury. And you look at the AI scoring, it goes that way. He landed more strikes throughout the whole fight, but they don't break it down round by round here, which is unfortunate. And he did have, look at the ground time. Not ground time. Where's the control time? Dominant position. Why don't they have the control time here? Damn it, PFL. You have all these stats. Would you post them, please? I know you do. I know you have them. You show them all the time. You have the smart cage. All your stuff is about stats. And I appreciate those, but you got to show them to people. Second round here, Jotko doing a better job controlling against the cage in this round. Fleury attacking the lead leg of Jotko and putting out jabs. Jotko was getting it to the ground against the cage. For some reason, Fleury got the first round. For the same reason that Fleury got the first round, I gave Jotko the second round. If you look at the AI scoring, it actually had a draw, which is highly unlikely in a 10-point must system. It's not impossible, just highly unlikely. So, unless there's a point deduction, but there wasn't here. So I had it 19-19 going into the third. And then Fleury getting the better of the exchanges against the cage. They separate. Jotko landed a knee. Jotko getting the trip with 1 minute left. Fleury got back up with 15 seconds left, but he just didn't land enough in this last round to do anything. And then obviously the AI gave it to Jotko 59-25. He did land more in this last round, and I felt like he got the fight because I gave him that second round. But Fleury got the fight. I'm guessing the first and second round, the two of the judges saw it that way for him. It's not a robbery, okay? Even if you disagree with it. I've said this before, but if you're new to the channel, just because you disagree with it or just because they don't have the exact opinion that the majority of people have doesn't mean it's a robbery. They might have seen it slightly different or improperly, or from their opinion, given more credence or value to damage done by a shot that you didn't give, and that can sway their opinion. So it doesn't mean you're wrong, and it doesn't mean they're wrong. There is inherent subjectivity built into the scoring system that we have in MMA. It's unfortunate, but it's the way it is. And until someone comes up with a better system, which I don't know of one, and I haven't sat down to think of one, this is what we got, guys. It's not a robbery. It's not. It's a close fight. Close fight. All right, Movlid, Khaybulaev versus Ryoji Kudo. So Ryoji Kudo coming out big last season, having that great performance against Brendan Laughnane, in which I think I scored it for Laughnane, but it was closer than it should have been if, given Laughlane's abilities that we see now and his competence. But knowing that he was wearing 2 knee braces at the time, and he was wrestling a lot. Maybe he wasn't feeling that great. So let's give him credit for that one because he did end up dominating everybody in the playoffs. So this fight, Kudo was really squirrely out there, doing a great job staying active, but Khaybulaev got him down eventually, and that was the whole round. He held him down the entire round, landed enough Dagestani punches. 10-9, body lock takedown in the second one for Khaybulaev, and that's the whole round again. This is another Dagestani guy doing Dagestani things, 20-18, and there's another takedown in the third round, and that's the whole fight. You can see here the AI scoring 12, 19, and 18 for Kudo, showing that he really didn't do anything. He just didn't, because Khaybulaev was able to hold him down with ease, I might add. So given that's the case, This is why I do like the PFL scoring system, right? I do think they should change up the scoring a little bit, like split decisions should count for half a point, but whatever, we'll talk about that later. I do like the fact that you only get 3 points for getting a win, because someone who's dominant in wrestling but can't get finishes might not make the playoffs even though they get 2 wins. Chances are you'll make the playoffs, but you could have 4 people. You might lose a split. You might, because you don't have any finishes, you could lose a tiebreaker to someone else, right? So it is possible to get 2 wins and not make the playoffs, I'm pretty sure. But anyway, that's why I like this system, because just because you're winning doesn't mean it necessarily means you have the same kind of credence as someone else does. And we inherently do this in other organizations, or they inherently do this in other organizations. If someone's coming up and knocking everybody out, they obviously get more promotional push for the most part than people who just, Kamaru Usman their way up to the top. Chris Wade versus Bubba Jenkins. A lot of heat before this one. A lot of bad blood. Bubba Jenkins not liking Chris Wade. Chris Wade throwing it right back in his face. They do not like each other. Nice jab from Jenkins early, and he got in on a takedown. Oh, man, Jenkins landed a knee to the head, but upon further review, that knee to the head of a grounded opponent was not a knee to the head. It was to the chest. So bad restart, by the way. So Jenkins actually had his chest over the back of the head of Wade. So he had one arm, one overhook of one arm, okay? That is not how they restarted it. They restarted it with Chris Wade's head pressed up against the chest, not the back of his head curled under. I don't like that restart. It didn't matter, but I do not like that restart. You got to restart him in the exact same position. Jenkins get into the back, landed some good ground and pound. I gave him that first round 10-9. Wade going for the guillotine, but nothing is there for him. Jenkins on top for the whole round pretty much. Wade was talking to the ref saying how many times you're going to warn him about grabbing the gloves. I agree with that. You shouldn't be grabbing the gloves, and if you get one warning, you shouldn't get a second one. But Wade was unable to do anything in either round so far. So it's 2018 to Jenkins pretty easily. Jenkins started the round with an eye poke that turned out not to be an eye poke either. It was really a knuckle. There is no rule against knuckles in the eye. Because you get punched in the eye, that's a knuckle. I mean, it essentially has the same effect as a poke in the eye, or it can have the same effect. But it's not illegal. This fight was not even close. Jenkins really turned it up. And I know styles make fights and it's not MMA math, but holy shit. Jenkins just put a pounding on Wade, and if he can keep that up, maybe he was a little worn out in the last season, and that's why Brendan got the better of him. Maybe he made some improvements, and he's going to be better going forward, but god dang, if Brendan Laughnane can do that to him in that round, or in that fight that they had, holy moly, because he dominated him. Remember, last season for the championship. Bubba Jenkins is good, though. Very good. All right, Martin Hamlet versus Mohammad Fakhreddine. Hamlet in on the takedown right away. They get back up, and then Hamlet in on another one, gets the back and gets the neck crank. 6 points right away. Woo, that was quick. Like a really fast finish. Like, holy moly, that was fast. You can see... You want to see the stats here. There's so many stats. Look at all this. There's strikes, 0, 0, 0. Oh, what the heck? There's no way that's right. Let's look at the other guys. Oh, there's stats here. There were no stats for this? Okay, well, obviously there's ground time. Why did they have that? Anyway, that's interesting. There's no stats, guys. I got no stats for you. It's all zeros. Great 6 points for Martin Hamlet. Like, really fast. Super, super fast. All right, we are cooking right now. We are moving along. Josh Silveira versus Sam Kei. Fine fight. Great performance by Silveira. Kei, it's not a great showing for him. Silveira was a big favorite. Silveira was the one dictating the fight with the leg kicks and the pressure, but not much going on for the first half of the round. Then Silveira got the takedown, took the back, and a rear naked choke for the 6 points finish in the first round. So, yeah, obviously, Silveira had finished a little bit later in the first round, and then the very next fight, Martin Hamlet's like, I'm going to beat that record. I'm going to do it. All right. Okay, Alejandro Flores versus Daniel Torres. Look at these guys. One of them is from Mexico, and the other one is not. I know it looks weird, but one of my friends is European, and he's from... Daniel Torres is from Bosnia-Herzegovina, I believe. I think it's Bosnia-Herzegovina. Right? Torres. Please tell me where you're from. From Brazil, fighting out of Austria, representing Bosnia-Herzegovina. I don't know. They said Brazil makes more sense now. But anyway, they mentioned Bosnia-Herzegovina, I think. Anyway, Both guys were trading at long range using low kicks, including a great nut shot from Flores. Flores had some more control. Not a lot of action in the first round. I leaned towards Torres for having more control early. I gave it 10-9. Torres in on the clinch again in the second round. Torres landing a big right hand. I think Torres got this second one too, but the ways everybody's talking, I don't know. I had a 20-18 to Flores, and he was also warned for another nut kick at the end of the round. He was on his back and he upkicked. Upkick MMA. He upkicked him into the nuts. Nice body kicks from Flores, but both guys were still tentative, even in the third round here. Flores doing a better job with the hands in tight and able to avoid at least one of the shots coming back at him. Flores with a takedown at the end of the round. I still had it for Torres 29-28, but not by much. And if you look at these, apparently that first round was given, the AI gave it to Flores, so I guess I was off. Maybe I was missing something. And then second round was Torres, and the third round looked like nobody's round, but they barely gave it to Flores. This was not the most interesting of fights, but Flores ends up getting the win here. But the way they were talking, they were not very happy about this one. The commentary team wasn't. They weren't happy about the Jotko fight either, which is, I mean, I had it scored the other way. Gabriel Braga versus Jesus Pinedo. Braga was pressuring, landing the really hard low kicks. Pinedo is only boxing for the most part. Most of his shots are getting blocked. He did land a good combo from the body to the head, digging low with that left hook to the body and coming over the top with the right hand. That's beautiful. I think Braga won this first round using the leg kicks. I think that's what got him this round. I had him up 10-9. Braga right back to the leg kicks in the second round. Pinedo landed some hooks and a couple decent shots, making Braga shell up. Pinedo, it's Pinedo, not Pineda, by the way. Sorry. Pinedo having some issues moving, and he went for a takedown. Pinedo's lead leg is really tender. He's switching stances. This round started really well for Pinedo, but getting dropped by leg kicks and hobbled like that gave it to Braga for me. Last round, Pinedo was still throwing. He was landing a bit, Braga landing some more kicks, but Pinedo did more damage. He landed some really good shots in the last round, even though he was compromised, and he got a takedown at the near the end of the round. I gave it 29-28 for Braga, giving that last round to Pinedo. And I could see Pinedo like eking by either that first round, probably not the second round, but I believe the right guy did get that win there. Boy, yeah, and the guy who does the betting for them, he was way off with these. Speaking. Delan Monte versus Ty Flores. And Ty Flores making his, I don't think this was his professional debut, but it was definitely his PFL debut. Nice right hand for Delan while Flores attacks the legs with low kicks. 12 uppercuts from Monte land with the collar tie. Just bam, bam, bam. Monte landing that right hand again, countering the leg kicks and landing another uppercut. Couple decent right hands from Flores, but he's really playing the long game with those low kicks. Monte was having a little bit of mobility issues. He started walking him down and landing those right hands at the end of the round, even though he had mobility issues. He was kind of just forcing his way through it and brute forcing his way through the kicks. I had him up 10-9. Monte was getting a little tired now, and Flores was able to pressure him. Monte got the takedown, took the back, ends up too high, and then ended up on his back. Flores spent the rest of the round on top, doing enough work, in my opinion, to stay there and get that round. So I had it 19-19 going to the third. Flores got the lift and the takedown 45 seconds into the round, and Monte worked his way back up with 3 minutes left. Monte went for a guillotine in the middle cage, which was really stupid. Super stupid. He shouldn't have done that. I know hindsight's 20/20 and you're tired, you make decisions, but he did something super dumb, falls to his back, and he ended up staying on his back till there was 45 seconds left. He needed to finish, but he got taken down again. So I had it 29-28 for Flores. I believe the judges got that one correct as well. And then we will talk about the opening contest here. Impa Kasangane taking on Cory Hendricks. Obviously, Impa Kasangane is known for his striking, but he did a damn good job in the grappling department here. Leg kicks from Hendricks, but Impa was walking him down. landing left hands as Hendricks is turning away. Cory finally able to get the takedown at 3 minutes left and takes the back. Impa just reverses it immediately. Impa was doing a good job, a decent amount of damage on the ground. Cory worked his way back to the feet. Cory used a Kimura grip to get Impa down for a moment. Impa rocked Hendricks with a right hand, and the round ends with Impa slipping and throwing kicks from his back. He did more damage throughout that whole first round, though, so I obviously gave it to him 10-9. No controversy there. Both guys swinging hard in the pocket. Impa was landing harder. He's swinging his hooks a little wide to reach around the guard of Hendricks, so his guard's like this, and he's reaching around that to come on the outside of that one. With those hooks, both guys did land a little bit, but Impa was doing way better. Impa did a good job, good work on the feet, and Cory failing on a takedown. Impa landing good ground and pound. Another really good round for him. So I hit him up 20-18. Cory trying to control the clinch, doing a decent job. They separate. Cory took some nasty shots to the head when they separated. Cory pressured in the clinch again, landing a couple good shots, but took a bunch of hooks to boot, or to pay, and he paid for it. Cory gets the takedown and gets the back, but he loses it, and that was just his last shot. It was a great fight for Impa. He looked fantastic. I gave him all 3 rounds. I had him winning 30-27. Beautiful fight for Impa Kasanganay. I'm glad he's kind of shored up his grappling a little bit. Hendricks was supposed to go out there and be able to take him down and control him. That is not what happened. I am very happy for Impa. All right, that is it. We managed to scoot through this one. I'm glad, because I didn't feel like making 2 of these. If you made it this far, please subscribe to the channel. I put out 2 or 3 videos like this every single week, breaking down fights, doing PFL, obviously, Bellator, 1FC, UFC, breaking down all the fights on the cards, every one that I can get to. So I appreciate y'all for stopping by. It means a lot to me. I hope you guys have an amazing week, and I love y'all.